Hi community of awesome, I'm Ava J and this is Bookish Pixie. So let's talk about writing a synopsis. Sort of. For those who don't know, a synopsis is a 1 to 3 page summary of all the important stuff that happens in your book from beginning to end, including the ending. The main way this differs from a back cover copy is the back cover copy isn't as complete. And whereas a back cover copy is supposed to entice a reader into reading the book, the synopsis is supposed to say everything that happens in the book. The synopsis is very frequently used in publishing and also is well hated amongst writers. Why do so many people hate synopsises? Well, because writing them is the worst. It is really hard to condense a 300-page book into 1 to 3 pages. I, like most writers, hated synopsis writing until I saw a writer online mention that they wrote their synopsises before they wrote the books. And at first I thought that sounded terrible. I was like, why would you put yourself through that? But then I started thinking, and I realized the part I didn't like about synopsis writing was the condensing, the part where you take this big story and squeeze it into a couple pages. But by writing the synopsis before you wrote the book, as in during the brainstorming and plotting stages, it was turning the synopsis into a plotting tool. So I figured, well, okay, I'll give it a try, though I was pretty skeptical about it. So while I was plotting a book, I kept Scrivener open next to a Word document, and while I was doing bullet points in Scrivener, I then translated it over to sentences and paragraphs in my synopsis. And lo and behold, I found that I actually found it occasionally easier to plot a book in sentences and paragraphs. Oh. I think it's because my brain works really well chronologically. My ideas kind of build on top of each other. So by writing it down in summary version of sentences and paragraphs as I was brainstorming, it just made it easier for idea generation for me. I also found it was a lot easier to critique my plot as I went along in synopsis format, because if I was a couple paragraphs down and then realized, oh, this isn't working, or I messed something up, I could just go back a couple paragraphs, change a sentence, and bam, fixed. And the most beautiful part about this is at the end I had a synopsis. Granted, it was a much longer synopsis than anything I could ever turn in. However, it's a lot easier to condense a summary, and I wasn't starting from scratch. And that is wonderful. So yeah, now I write my synopsises before I write my books at the same time that I'm plotting, and that's why it's a great idea to experiment with different writing strategies. So that's what I've got for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys next week.